Recording in progress.
Using Zoom. Okay, well, that's really good, but I'd like to be able to connect. It said Tony's using it. Or join a meeting. Look at it. I am. Join a meeting. Do something. Why isn't it seeing the scan? Settings. Well, this is really going to be bad. It's not seeing the camera. Okay, this is going to be a pain. But hi, Art.
Hi there. How you doing?
Either my volume's down or I can't hear you. Or both.
Try again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Speaker. We are not.
The heck is this thing doing? It's changed every setting.
Your voice has gone really quiet.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but it's a lot lower volume than it was. But I can hear you. I mean, bottom line is I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're fine. Zoom has changed every setting that I had set. Every one of them.
Did you update recently?
Nope. It just has to be Zoom, right? It's the laptop. I'll blame the laptop. Screwy laptop.
This is your new whiz bang laptop?
No, this is still the old laptop, but I'll blame it.
Okay. Well, I see Grand Poobah is signed in, but I don't see any video.
He's working on it. He does have the new laptop. So
This is your new laptop or his new laptop?
he has a new Chromebook.
$58.
He spent big money on it.
Oh man, I mean, you know, you're gonna blow out the budget there, Jim.
Yeah.
Oh,
That didn't sound good.
Other apps. Please choose the apps and try it again. Please close the apps and try it again.
yeah, Zoom's doing some crazy stuff. Maybe it's not Zoom. Maybe it's just us. We'll just blame Zoom.
I was gonna say, there's always the possibility of operator error. Not to put too fine a point on it, but
You would think that we knew what we were doing though. We've been doing this for a while. So
this is true. I discovered my wife has been having trouble with her Zoom meetings for, I don't know, several months now. Actually, since we came out here this time. And I discovered that she was using about version 0.05 of Zoom. And it said very clearly, update in order to join this session. And she's always afraid of updating something because it'll break. So I went in there, brought it up to the current. It's run like a top now. So the version does make a difference. Now that was an extreme case, but the version does make a difference.
Yes. I don't know how many versions they previous versions they actually support, but I know they want you to get on the latest version as fast as possible.
Well, I update mine maybe one time, once a month or so, something like that. That seems to work for me.
Well,
What happened to Jim? He just disappeared off the.
yeah, I'm rebooting. It's like Windows.
He's having technical issues. Oh,
I'm loading an extension on the Chromebook, and I don't know how the extension works, so I'm having to experiment.
Okay.
Application launcher.
yeah.
So how's the library today? Is it pretty full, pretty empty, pretty what?
There are a few people up at the lounge area.
Yeah, I'd say that it's probably about medium.
Okay. Now, how long do we have Thursdays before we got to go through the shenanigans again, Jim?
Hard to say. It's like a crapshoot. We're beggars here. We ain't paying nothing, so we do the best we can. The 26th will be virtual only because we have someone else scheduled. So we'll be probably hitting that probably once a month. We'll be hitting that.
So how far ahead can you book?
6 meetings. And realize that at the end of the year, it screwed up. They changed applications, had to go through people that said it doesn't work. And then they said, I don't know. And then, so it's it's settling down. Now the application is supposedly there and you should be able to book 6 weeks in advance.
Okay. So it's 6 weeks in advance. All right.
Well, yeah, but also realize, yeah, it'll be 5 until you're finished with the meeting and the next day.
Okay. Well, that's reasonable.
Yeah, and it's whoever gets there first.
Mm-hmm. Can you do that as a rolling 6 weeks? In other words, once you've used up week number 1, can you book a new 6, or do you have to book all 6 at the same time?
It's rolling, you always have 6. So after the meeting, I'll go the very next day, I'll try to book the next one.
Okay. I wonder if everybody got the message that it's Thursday this week.
Well, I sent 2. I sent one Wednesday saying it's not today. And then I sent one today saying it is today. So I hope they got it.
Okay. Well, of course, anytime you change anything, somebody in the crew will forget or screw it up,
But of course.
Oh, here you come.
Let's see. I may have to reboot. You just muted it. Mute work. Oh, stop. Video looks like it might live. Let's see. Recording. It prefers not to have my picture, it looks like.
Leroy, you're looking a little peaked there. You okay?
I'm fine. I don't understand what's going on with this camera. This camera finally decided,
Now, this is a camera on your laptop or a separate camera?
the one that I usually use for the videos.
Okay.
And it started to work. Well, it wasn't working and then it started to work and then it stopped working. And now it's not working at all.
And now I gotta go, I gotta reboot. Looks like it didn't find the camera. It may have to boot it with it. No, it's blinking the light.
What kind of a
out.
camera is that you got, Leroy?
That is an action camera.
Is that the brand Action?
No, it's actually a generic, a really generic camera. It's supposed to be, or supposedly, like a GoPro,
Oh, okay.
like one of the old style GoPros,
Yeah.
but
You should get it, put it on your hat. Yeah.
I had it on my hat for a while.
Mhm.
It was like $20.
Oh,
And
man.
it is,
You sure our budget will handle that? I mean,
no, I bought like 4 of them or 5 of them. So, you know, I spent a little bit of money and they work great, but I bought them. I bought more of them after I found out that this one, they're true 1080p's. They're not that weird interlaced
software.
480,
Yeah.
whatever it is. They're true 1080p cameras, and for $20, I was like, heck yeah. And this thing has worked fantastic for over a year, and now it decides no.
20 bucks.
Well,
is-
maybe
that's more than
it's
that.
maybe it's Zoom, not the
No, it's the camera. The camera's not even enumerating right now.
oh,
It's not even showing up. So I could have a bad cable, maybe.
what are the USB-C or USB micro USB?
Micros, yeah. I mean, technically, it's an older camera, and you know, it's modeled after the original GoPro Hero. It's got Wi-Fi and everything. I mean, it was a decent camera, but now it doesn't work. So now I'm going to have to figure out why it doesn't work. And see if it even shows up. LS USB, HP camera, and that's it.
I gotta get this working because I don't know if Art can survive without seeing my picture.
Oh, yeah. Definitely put the hammer down on that, Jim. So anything cooking this week?
We can listen to radio stations all over the world with Radio Garden. You look in the news.
Yeah. That is only commercial stations, I assume. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, you can listen to, I listen to radio radio station in Ukraine, the capital city, Kiev. Is that it? But it was interesting. They were like 10 different stations you could listen to.
Did you understand any of it though? It was all in Russian, right?
Well, the music was pretty understandable, but
Well, there's a lot of European stations are have an English channel.
yeah, like
So,
London, they're like 80 something. There are looked like over 100 stations, really.
But see, that's weird because London, they've got some weird rules about recording and rebroadcasting radio. You need a license to do it or something. It looks like it's enumerating the audio portion, but not the video portion.
interesting.
That is interesting. Okay,
Okay.
wait a second.
This,
Second.
they made it miserable. They
Don't
made it
move it too
miserable.
much. Don't move it too much. Did I move it too much? Okay.
Launch a meeting. Do I want to
Yeah.
go-
I can see motion. I can see Leroy there scooting
Okay,
down the
well-
table.
We'll just back away and let it do its thing. And hope that it doesn't die.
Yeah.
That was very weird. It enumerated the audio portion of the camera. And then a couple seconds later, the video portion of it showed up.
That is
So
bizarre.
I probably have a bad cable. I jiggled the cable around a bunch. So we'll just leave it set.
Hmm.
You know, after I got all this out here, that robot might actually work on this map. I was afraid it was too big. It might actually work. Oh no. Go back.
You said,
Somehow or another, I ended up the host.
Yes, somehow or another, I died. Just completely. It just completely.
Yeah, your view is frozen. From my perspective. Now you're not. Now I'm seeing.
No, there's just nobody down there right now. So everything's sitting. You're just not seeing anything.
Well, actually, a few minutes ago, you were down there and you were frozen in a fixed position. So,
now I'm up.
yeah, all three of us are connected now.
I think I'm gonna give up on PWA for now.
Aggressive
It's-
web apps. So what did you end up doing if you not using?
I went back to the unsupported one. I think I may be using it as far, I can't tell. Looks the same to me. But the instructions for use were pitiful. And it, you know, Zoom just throws you in there and you don't even know, you don't know what's going on. You just know it works. Well, this one, the PWA may not be that easy.
The official, unofficial,
What does PWA stand for?
progressive web app. It is the new
Progressive.
thing. Everything's a web app,
Okay.
and now it's progressive. I really don't know what progressive means. But on the Chromebooks, Zoom went with this PWA, and they got rid of the Chrome extension, or are phasing the Chrome extension out, and they're wanting you to use the PWA.
Okay.
And I had a little bit of trouble getting it to work right when I tried it on the Chromebook too, so. It's not just Jim.
Well, usually it is, but today it may not be. It's like, you know, sometimes.
They had back before they did away with it, they actually had a Chrome app where you could just download the Chrome app and it would work. And I have no idea why they got rid of it. I mean, it worked. It did exactly what it was supposed to do.
It's probably stepping on somebody's license rights or whatever.
Who knows, it worked too good.
That's what was wrong. It worked.
It worked too good, yeah.
My guess is Google wants to get rid of apps altogether. So they want everybody to use this progressive web app thing.
Well, they kind of want you to use the extensions, whatever that is. Okay. Yes.
Anyway, I was saying before Zoom crashed on me. This is that bigger robot that you can't see. Where to go? Oh, there it is. This is that bigger Mecum wheel robot that I bought that has the stepper motors, big, heavy robot. I was thinking I was going to have to redesign the map that I made for this little robot, which is, you know, very, very small, but it kind of looks like, I mean, it is a little bit bigger than the grid squares I've got, but it probably will work. I probably won't need to redesign this map. I'll probably just be able to reuse the map. I am planning on moving the camera over because this one slips too much and this one should not slip. If it wants to go in a straight line, it should go in a straight line.
So that has Mecum wheels on it?
Yep. And they're good. They're the good Mecum wheels. They're nice and smooth. Not so good Mecum wheels. So. Then I brought this little robot. I don't think anybody got the message that we were changing days, even though we told everybody a dozen times.
Oh, well. Yeah,
Well, I never sign up. I just show up. So I don't know. Does anybody sign up ahead of time these days?
well, there really is no sign up, I guess, except on, meeting. People may sign up. I never pay any attention to it. And Meetup has turned into a goat opportunity. Now with the regular setup, it's a little cryptic to use. Every time they change it and they want you to use the pro version now. Okay, no thanks.
Is that a paid deal?
Yeah.
I don't
got
think
some-
I have, I don't think I've ever signed up for a meeting. I just show up and
Yeah,
it's
they're-
there.
They're basically, I think you can say I'm going to attend if you go to Meetup, but nobody does, so. We don't care. You don't have to sign. I'll meet at work. No. Log in.
Well, do they have some kind of an advertising revenue model?
You pay to use it. I pay to use this. And it's based on, then they were trying to get it based on number of people, but if you look at the number of people that are supposedly signed up, they're like probably 200, you know. It's everybody that ever looked at it, basically. So. Let's see, well, they changed that. Yeah, they've modified. It's even different from the last time I logged in.
How pricey is it?
It was about 20 something a month. I don't know
Really?
what it is now. I'd have to look. $613 members.
And 5 of us show up pretty
Yeah.
regularly
Yeah.
in art. 5 of us in art.
Well, that's over the years, I have participated in a number of church activities. And that's the kind of ratios you have there. You have 500 members and
20 people show up.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of those that show up, there's only about half a dozen who are actually active in any way.
Oh, there were more people at one time. Pandemic kind of did it in, did the numbers. in.
Well, I think that's not the only thing the pandemic has done. A lot of activities have disappeared. The rest of the restaurant trade has been just decimated.
Yeah.
The ones that have survived are the fast food places with drive-up windows. They made out like a bandit during the whole COVID thing because you have somewhat more limited content. You pull up, you don't go inside, you just give them your order and they give it, you pay them and they give you the stuff. Those places that didn't have any kind of curbside activity really suffered miserably.
Most of the places around here, well, a lot of places didn't have like the curbside like you're talking about. And I mean, they quickly, it was pretty much overnight. They had 20 spots where you could pull up and text them and they would bring your order out to you.
Yeah.
But the thing, see, my mom, she worked at Wendy's during all that. And she said that that particular Wendy's probably was never, ever going to go back to being open to eat in, because they were making just as much money, if not more, through the drive-through and had less people working.
And of course, they end up with less, if they don't have inside seating, they don't have nearly the staff requirement for cleaning and
That's,
all
That was
that kind of
pretty much-
stuff.
that was pretty much what she was saying was, you know, from, because they closed the inside, they got rid of 15 people. And they could run the entire store with like 8 people.
Yeah, all they need is the kitchen and somebody to,
Run the grill and take the orders and run the food.
and work as a clerk at the sales clerk at the pickup window.
A lot of times that's the same person as the order taker. The order taker and the person collecting the money is the same person.
Yeah, that's true. It depends on the model. McDonald's, for example, has long had this business of you give the order at a kiosk out in the parking lot. You go to the first window, you pay for it, and you go to the second window and you pick up the stuff.
Yeah.
And that processes the queue pretty fast.
That's how Wendy's was set up, was you give the order, you move ahead, you pay, you go and pick up your food, and sometimes you'd move on to another window if they were really, really busy and kind of behind, they would push you up to a third spot. But you know, I just thought it was kind of interesting because she said that Wendy's that she worked at, they would never go back to doing eat-in service. They'll close the dining room, they'll use it for storage.
Huh.
Because they were making as much money, if not more.
Are those franchises or are those company owned?
The one that she worked at was a franchise. And she doesn't work there anymore because, well, a lot of different reasons, but her franchisee was not a great, he was not a great franchisee. They were making a ton of money at that store, and they kept asking for things to be fixed, and things never got fixed. Even though they knew they had the money. I mean, you know, when you need a new grill, I mean, you're a Wendy's, you're a grill operation. You should have a halfway decent grill.
Well, you would expect they'd have a couple.
But the franchisee decided that he wasn't going to spend the money on a new grill.
Was this a one-off franchisee? Or
No,
was this...
he actually owns 6 or 7 stores, and that was one of his busiest stores. That was one of the bigger stores. But he just he let stuff go and go and go until it was beyond fixable. I mean, they started asking, they just wanted the grill fixed at one point, and he wasn't going to pay to have it fixed, and it got worse and worse and worse to the point that it didn't need to be fixed, it needed to be replaced.
Are these gas grills generally?
I believe that those are, yes. And he had one of the deep fryers catch on fire.
Oh yeah.
After many times that the manager said, there's something wrong with this deep fryer, I'll just keep using it, it's fine.
So,
Yeah, well, a
Yep.
grease fire can do a lot of damage, that's for sure, like burn the building down.
we, mom and my sister and a couple other people were kind of under the impression that maybe he wanted it to burn down. Maybe he just wanted
Oh, okay. Little lightning, huh?
because he wasn't spending money to fix it. Maybe he just wanted the store to burn down. But you know, what do we know?
Yeah. So we went to God, what's the name of it? Red Robin the other night, and pre-pandemic, it was one of the places we like to go. A little more expensive, but had really good food. And anyway, when we pulled into the parking lot, I thought the place was closed.
Mhm.
But Barbara hopped out of the car, went in, says, "Nope, they're open." And there was just a small number of cars parked in back, and I figured that was the staff. But I noticed across the front they had like 8 places that you could pull in for curbside service. And so I have to assume they're doing a lot of curbside service there. But it turned out we were just a little early for the rush. Was fortunate we were, because about the time we were ready to leave, the crowd showed up. We were there early. We were there like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I think it's before a lot of people were off of work and home and so forth and so on. So one of the places that we like to go that is definitely a fast food place is Jimmy John's, because I like their subs, and I'm a kind of a sub freak. I like a big sub sandwich.
Have you tried Jersey Mike's?
No, I'm not certain I'd ever seen Jersey Mike's.
Yes. Much better than Jimmy John's.
Really?
Oh yeah, hands down.
There's another one that I know is pretty good. It's something from the East Coast. I can't remember.
Well, there's Penn Station.
There's what? Penn
Penn-
Station. Penn Station. I
Penn-
first ran into them in Columbus. So
Yes,
I don't know, maybe.
that was the first time I saw a Jersey Mike's was when I was in Columbus. Penn Station is all right. They've changed their menu, and I don't really like their new menu. But I like their bread. They've got good bread.
Yeah, one of the things I object to about Jimmy John's is you have a choice of one bread. they're really, at least the places we go to down here, they really only use one bread. Now
Yeah.
you can get a lettuce wrap, but for bread they only have one. They have some really good ones in Northern California in the Bay Area. There's one called Togo's. It's actually a contraction of to go, and they've contracted it into Togo's. But I don't think that's available anyplace outside the Bay Area. And then there's a burger joint that has been very successful in the Bay Area called In-N-Out Burger. But I don't.
Yeah. They're good.
But where are they? They aren't around here at all, I don't think.
Yeah, they're in Oregon,
There was,
Washington State, Oregon, up
What-
there.
wasn't there an in and out up on, wasn't that an in and out up on, Tylersville Road?
Not that I'm
It's,
aware
it's
of.
not there anymore.
I've never seen one out west. They're out west, like Oregon.
Well, yeah, primarily in California, but they also have them up through Oregon and Washington
Yeah,
and down into western Arizona. Because I've eaten at them in all those different places.
It was a Jack in the Box that was up on Tylersville.
no, Jack in the
That's-
Box is nothing like In and Out. In and Out's wonderful.
Yeah, and Jack in the Box is one of those places. I always wonder, how do these guys survive?
Well, apparently they don't do well because the one that was on Tylersville was there for 3 or 4 years and it's gone, so. I know that's an out west kind of deal.
Well, and one of the other ones we have in California that is a kind of a marginal outfit is a place called Carl's Jr.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Hardee's.
That's Carl, that's Hardee's, yeah.
Yeah. Carl's
Okay,
and-
well, but it's only a small percentage of burger joints. And, but
Well, you guys
Jack-
had, which one was it? It wasn't Frisch's. There was another big boy. Was it
Frisch's Big Boy.
Frisch's Big Boy? Yeah. But
Yeah, there's a bunch of those around here.
there for a
the-
while, there was one it was just a Big Boy, wasn't it, in California? It wasn't.
I think at one time, and this has got to be going back 30 or 40 years, there was a merger. And it became Frisch's Big Boy, but at one time it was called just Big Boy.
Yeah,
And has that picture of, not picture, has that statue of a kid in a checkered suit. It's a big plastic thing out in front.
mhm.
But those are all across the country now.
Yeah, the Frisch's family is huge now.
Yeah, there's here in the Milford area, there's got to be, well, greater Milford area, I guess you'd call it. There's got to be 4 or 5 of them, something like that. There's two on 28, one downtown Milford on Lila, and one out 32 beyond Eastgate. As a matter of fact, there's 2 out 32. The other one we've run into, I first ran into it down by University of Cincinnati, across from the dorms, was called Raising Cane. It's a chicken place.
Yeah, we've got one of those.
Yep, there's one of those up on Tylersville Road. Patty
And,
likes, I don't get Raising Cane's.
No,
I don't get it. Patty loves it. Patty likes that place.
Well, reason we like it is the chicken is pretty juicy. And unlike, what's the other one, the place that closes on Sunday?
Oh, Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A. Yeah, they're
I like Chick-fil-A, but I don't like Raising Cane so much.
that's interesting because the Chick-fil-A's I've been to, and they're starting to permeate California, although their political stance has really been very unpopular there. The problem I had with them was the chicken was awfully dry. And I like juicy chicken, so
Juicy chicken, yeah.
so anyway.
I don't know. See, Raising Cane seemed like when I was, looking at the menu, it seemed like everything was the same. They had like 15 menu items, but it was all the same. You get fries, you get bread, and you get a couple of strips of chicken, and that's it. It's just a weird.
Yeah, I think they
weird.
are limited to chicken. I don't think they do much else. Like a lot of
I
places.
always thought it was just weird that you get a decent, I mean, it's a decent piece of bread with it. That's the thing that always just threw me off was they're giving me bread with chicken.
Well, yeah, there's all combinations.
I know, I find the weirdest things to think are weird, but.
Well, one of the things that I like about Frisch's is I like their salad bar and I like their breakfast bar.
Yeah.
And,
I haven't been to Frisch's in a while, but I always liked their breakfast. Their breakfast was always good.
yeah,
Yeah.
they have a good breakfast bar, but they also have if you like a salad bar, they also have a pretty good salad bar. It's not a full meal buffet, but it's a good salad bar. Their plan is that you buy an entree of some sort,
Mhm. Yeah.
burger, chicken or chicken and
Yeah.
sides like fries and so forth. But then you add the salad bar, and the salad bar is where you go to get all the other stuff. And they get you pretty good for the salad bar, even with an entree. So.
Yeah, I always liked the breakfast bar. That was always really good. So
Yeah,
are
but
you
they have an absolute cutoff on that, though.
Yeah,
I mean, it's something, I don't know whether it's 11 o'clock or noon or someplace. The breakfast bar just disappears.
it depends on the location. It depends on the day, I think. Because
Really?
yeah, the one in Middletown, I think, had an all-day breakfast bar, but they were limited. You could only get like sausage and pancakes all day long. You couldn't get the full breakfast bar.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, I think on the weekends they were open until noon. But during the week, it was closed at like 11 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Weird times. But are you close? Are you close to Kenwood? Kenwood Road?
No, that's west of us.
That's west of you. Okay.
We are quarter of a mile, half a mile from 275's eastward part. In other words, if you look at the circle of 275,
Mm-hmm.
the eastmost point on that circle
Okay.
is
So
close to us.
You're down closer to. Oh, there's no Jersey Mike's down that way. That's probably why you don't know about them.
We got Jimmy John's and Jersey Mike. We just got a Jersey Mike. Was that Jersey Mike? There's there are two in Monroe and Subway.
Subway's the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Subway, you just eat it because you have to, not because
There's
you
one down
want
by
to.
Culver's. There's one down by Culver's now.
That is Jersey Mike's.
Okay.
That's Jersey Mike's.
Yeah, we tried it. It was okay.
Best sandwich ever.
Jersey Mike's. I'll have to check that out.
I don't.
I don't recall.
Western Row?
Pardon?
Are you anywhere near Western Row? No.
Anywhere near? I'm sorry, I'm not.
Western Row Road. That's
No.
That's
If you look at
Blue Ash. You're close to Blue Ash.
we're south of Blue Ash quite a bit. If
Okay,
you look at,
there's one in Blue Ash.
if you look at, well, we'll have to try that out. If you look at 275
Mm-hmm.
and where 32 comes into 275, that's where
Yes.
Eastgate is.
Yes,
We're north of that and south of where 28 comes into it. So if you
Okay.
look at, if you look at the 32 exit off of 275 and the 28 exit off 275, there's an intermediate exit called, well, it's, I don't know, it's called Milford exit, whatever, which is about halfway in between, and we're right there. We're within, I don't know, half mile as the crow flies. We sit up the hill from them. There's a big Walmart there. If you see where the big Walmart is on Chambers Drive there, right off of 275, we're about 300 or 400 feet above them, straight south.
okay.
If
Well-
you know, there is, I'll tell you another landmark. There is Quaker Steak and Lube there, right down the street from Walmart. Like,
Yeah, I kind of have an idea where you are. Blue Ash might be the closest one to you, though.
yeah. Yeah, Blue Ash is quite a ways up from us,
Yeah.
quite a ways north.
Yeah, I'm surprised they don't have any down there where you're at, because that's a hopping area. Maybe they just haven't gotten that far yet.
Well, they also have Cracker Barrel and places like that.
Yeah. But I would, I mean, if you're a sandwich guy, you need to go try Jersey Mike's.
Okay, we'll definitely do. Jersey Mike.
They are not cheap. They're not
Okay.
cheap, but they make a good sandwich.
Okay. Are they all on subs or are they on regular bread or what?
It's a sub sandwich.
Host has
Okay.
disabled participant screens.
Of course I have, because I never turned it on because I was
Oh, you were whacked out.
I was trying to get other stuff
Oh.
working,
Oh,
you know.
Jim, you're complaining about lack of sharing?
Yeah,
There you go. It's turned on now.
okay, application. Yeah, there it is. I'm gonna turn you on to radio gardening.
dun, dun, dun.
Whoa, what is that?
That's radio sharing. That's a map of the United States. Let's see if I can,
Oh, yeah, that's Dayton, Ohio.
yeah, a zoom. Now I got to figure out how to zoom with this. Oh,
The
plus.
plus or minus down there in your corner. Yeah.
Oh, I want to zoom the other way though.
I'm gonna zoom out.
Yep, there's the United States. And you want to listen to BBC, you can go over there. And over here on the left, you can expand this to look at all the stations in the circle. I probably,
Station is unresponsive.
yeah, well,
They tried to connect to something.
yeah. I gotta go out, so that's wait, okay. So you can go over to the Ukraine. It should be somewhere near the Black Sea, be over here somewhere. And up in
Yeah, a
there.
little bit east further.
Let's see.
Yeah, you're sitting in Macedonia now. So you go east of that and you there, that's the Black Sea there.
That's the Black Sea there or to the left? Oh, that's. the
No,
Black
right
Sea.
there.
Oh, okay, I got you.
That's to the left, you would be.
Oh, I got you. I can find Kiev now. It's right up there. There.
Yeah.
Okay, view all stations. And that radio voice of Kiev. So it's pretty interesting. And you go to London and there are hundreds. It's crazy. But they say you can go to North Vietnam, listen to North Vietnam if you want to.
Yeah.
That's London. Okay, well, let's see how many stations we got. I thought it was like hundreds.
Dozens. of
Stations in London.
Yeah.
Doesn't say show all. Huh. Italian radio. Where did I go? That should be London. There's London, United K 446. Okay, it looks like.
Yeah, that's Greater London. Okay.
There are some, they have like BBC, they have London BC, London broadcast stations, and they have channel 4 and channel 2. It's very British. If you hear them talk about their stations over there, they're there. Now, why can't I see all of them? Stations in London, it won't let me see them all. But anyhow, it's entertaining.
What's the website there?
It's radio.garden. There's a link in your news. There's a link in.
Okay, I'll take a look there. Radio.garden.
Yeah,
So garden is the primary domain.
Apparently,
That is weird.
That's
They recently, I know in the last few years, they've started this business of really bizarre domains.
yeah,
No
and they won't
more-
give us a .ham. So
.ham. Oh, there's Ray.
maybe.
Hello.
Is he virtual or
Yeah,
in
real.
town?
Ray's real.
Real.
He's real. Real Ray. Okay.
As opposed
Real
to the virtual Ray. What's up,
So-
Mr. Ray?
So what time zone you in?
I'm south of Lexington, so I'm still in. I'm in the normal time zone.
Normal
That's
time zone?
unusual for Ray, yeah.
The normal time zone.
So you're only a couple of 100 miles away from home.
145, yeah.
Okay. Down there working on lasers?
Yeah, I just had a customer that she cleaned her laser and tried to do her own alignment, and not so good job at it. So she asked me to come down and clean her laser again and show her how to do alignment again.
And Ray said, sure, give me some money.
At least pay for gas. Good grief.
Is this a school or something else?
Somebody that's starting a home business in their garage. I've been doing it for about a year now, and they're on the edge of like, should they quit their day job?
Ah, been there a couple of dozen times, I'll tell you. It's a dicey situation. So what's the product?
Just crafts that they make out of 1/8" Baltic birch plywood. Just a lot of hobby crafts. Some award plaques and just some stuff that you would buy, and it's customized. Maybe you paint it or stain it later.
Interesting. This is in Lexington or south of Lexington?
Berea, south of Richmond. So it's probably 40 miles south of Lexington.
Yeah, Berea, you're talking about Berea, Kentucky?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went through there once, I think, if I recall correctly.
I've been there a few times.
I think I drove through there about 3 o'clock in the morning one time about 20 years ago.
I drive through Berea maybe 5 or 6 times a month or something. I-75 is pretty popular for me to drive down.
Yeah. Was on I-75 or I-71? It was, I remember it was some interstate and we just flew through.
75.
It was coming
71
back.
to Louisville.
Oh, it goes west then. Okay, 71 goes west. 75 goes straight south, then I take it.
Yes.
Well, this was probably, actually it's closer to 30 years ago now. This is 1992, as I recall.
Holy crap. That's a lot of changes have happened to 71 and 75 since then.
Yeah. I think I was coming back from Raleigh, Durham area. And I went west and we drove through the Smoky Mountains across, started Gatlinburg and went over the ridge and then picked up some interstate and headed straight north.
You probably took 40 from 80 and 40. Not 80. 40 and something else. 740 and some others from Raleigh, Durham area over across Asheville and then over just north of Atlanta. Pick up I-75, head north. Yeah.
Yeah. Over in Tennessee, and then we were headed for Columbus, so we had north 75, and I think in Cincinnati area we picked up 71 and headed for Columbus.
Back then, 71 wasn't nearly as highway as it is now. 71 was, some of those back roads. It was a lot smaller.
71 when I came up in 1992, summer of 1992, it was between Columbus and Cincinnati, it was all interstate. A lot of construction.
Yeah, lots of construction.
And by the way, that hasn't changed. If I go up there in the summertime, you know, there are long stretches of they're doing something on the road.
Between 92 and 95, there was a lot of construction happening over there. I remember I used to drive from Cincinnati up to Columbus a few times a year. a long time ago.
Well, of course, my origin is in Columbus, so my parents were taking care of my at that time young daughter, and now 41 years old, but in that time young daughter, and she was staying with Grandpa and Grandma, being spoiled rotten, of course, as Mom and Dad went off to Raleigh, Durham. Very nice there, Leroy. It's really going.
This is the one that doesn't have the camera, so. This one's proving the fact that when you slow it down, it doesn't want to work. And I can run over my big one. So if I try to slow it down, which I should be able to do, see how it
Not much
goes.
sumo competition there.
Yep, see how one of the wheels is slipping though, when I slow it way down.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. Well, certainly when you speed it up, it
Does
really
all right.
holds.
It does all right. It's still not straight. It still doesn't go straight, but it doesn't have any feedback. So it's not really supposed to go straight.
Not expecting to go straight if it's that
As
low of
long-
torque.
Well, I'm working on it off of the joystick too. So, you know, I can make it go straight because I can watch it. But if I slow it down, it really doesn't want to do what it's supposed to do.
How slippery is that sheet of stuff
You know,
you've got?
I wouldn't have thought that it was that slippery, but it's pretty slippery.
I like that business where it basically does a moonwalk there sideways. Yeah.
Yeah, and as long as it's going at a decent clip, it does fine. But trying to keep the orientation of it too. But when I slow it down, it doesn't do so well. But it's a toy, so. And of course, that was to prove that this one that's got the camera on it, which goes really, really slow because of motion blur and everything, it won't work, which is why I thought this one might work better because it's got better Mecum wheels on it. Now I just need to figure out, I need to charge this one up. I didn't bring its charger. But I need to figure out how to mount the camera and where to mount the camera. But because this one uses, you know, the stepper motors, I think I could just step it along slower and it'll still go straight. It's got better wheels on it. It's got better drive. I was afraid I was going to have to redo the map though, but I don't think I am. I think it'll work.
Who's the manufacturer on that small one?
M5 stack.
And the big one?
M5 stack.
Oh, they're both Empire stack. Okay.
Almost everything I've got here today is M5 stack. Almost everything. M5 stack should pay me to show for
Yeah.
them.
You should get a commission for all these presentations.
This
That little one really scampers around, I must say. That's
this one is
impressive.
the old. This one's the old version. And I haven't figured out exactly what the difference between the old version and the new version is. But this is the new version. This is the old version.
The wheels look about the same size.
They're it's pretty much identical. I mean, the biggest thing, they 3D printed this extra little do flippy here on it. So that I could mount stuff straight up and down. But there's no reason why I couldn't 3D print me something and mount it to the mounting holes.
Huh.
It's, I can't really figure out. This one does actually seem like the motors are a little tiny bit lower, so they push on the ground a little bit better. But I really can't figure out what they changed.
So can you drive the other small one?
No,
Oh, you don't have a remote control for it or what?
the program that's on it right now is to read the Aruku markers.
Oh, okay. Are these both the brains or Arduinos or something else?
ESP32s.
ESP32s, okay. Same ESP32s or different models?
Same ones.
Same one, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, theoretically, I could unhook. I guess I could just plug this one in. But I think they may have changed something in the I2C commands.
Oh, okay.
But if I did that, if I pulled that controller off and stuck it on this one, it would behave exactly like that one. Because it would just be on a different chassis.
I gotta tell you, I'm really impressed with that, with how that thing scampers around there. You're doing that with a joystick?
Yep. The beauty of Meckham wheels.
I was gonna say, is there anything you could spray on those Meckham wheels to make them less slippery?
I don't know. I think silicone, any kind of silicone gel would make it more slippery.
Yeah. Yeah, you want something that would make it tackier.
Like some sort of glue, but not glue.
Yeah, well, you want something that just makes it tacky.
Like, I don't know. What do you think? Rubber cement, maybe?
Um,
That might gum up the work, so. But, I mean, you know how these work, right? They're, turn this thing off, save the battery. Maybe I'll turn it off. Save the battery. Maybe not. This spins, but each one of these is a roller, so they spin.
no, I know how they work. I know how they work, but
So if I put something on there and it got onto the wrong roller, well, that could cause problems, right?
yeah, well, I was just trying to think of some way that you would have a higher coefficient of friction between the wheels and your mat there.
Yeah. Don't know.
I'd say his problem is more in the gearbox than on the slipping on the material, on the paper.
Oh,
At low speed, that's the reason his robot's turning. It's probably something in the gearbox at low speed rather than just tires.
okay.
I might agree with that it's the motors themselves, something in the gearbox. So I mean, this uses a DC motor. So, you know, each DC motor is a little tiny bit different, even though they're all the same.
That's a brushless DC?
Mhm. Yeah, it's just a standard DC motor, cheap.
So it
Cheap
has a
as-
brush. It's a brush DC motor
Brush,
Okay,
with brushes. Okay.
yes,
so
Yeah.
you control the rotational velocity with voltage?
Hmm.
You raise the voltage, it goes faster?
yes. Yeah,
Well,
Okay.
maybe not. It might be using a pulse width modulated constant 12 volt or something.
it's not, it's a 3.7 volt battery is in it.
You know,
Okay.
it's probably, I think Ray's probably right there. Hate to say that, but.
So it's
hopefully modulation
You're talking
on
about PWM
it.
fixed
Yeah,
voltage.
on a-
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
it just adjusts the current by the amount of time that it's on and off and all that stuff.
Was
Well,
the
it's
ESP,
but by modulating the maximum voltage, the result is that it goes slower, but on a smaller scale of time, you actually have full voltage at only a part of the waveform, which gives it the most torque possible. But when you look at it with an analog multimeter, it looks like it's at 1.1 volt or 0.6 volts or something. But if you looked at it with an oscilloscope, you would see that the waveform is just chopped up. And that's
So-
the way to get the most torque
it's,
out of a motor, given you're wanting it to go slower.
so in effect, it goes from max torque to zero torque to max torque to zero torque. And you
Yes.
just change the pulse width.
Yes.
Okay,
And it goes slower because it's only, the waveform is only on 20% of the time or 25% of the time. So you're
I
going
see.
25% speed, not
It-
going 100% speed because you don't have the full voltage on all the time.
so does the ESP32 have PWM pins on it?
All of them do,
Okay,
because you can turn on PWM features, even on an Arduino, the ESP32, or you can software synthesize it.
uh-huh.
Yeah, not all of them, but most of them have PWM options.
Yeah, well, most of them.
On the Arduino, I think there's only, what, 7 of the 14 pins or 13 pins are PWM. The rest are not PWM.
that's the way the Arduino software is set up. You could actually make those, you can make almost any of those pins do it.
Okay,
But for hardware PWM, I think there's only 2 pins on the Arduino.
Yeah, there's 2 dedicated pins, I think.
Yeah. That way you just tell the configuration, this is the frequency, this is the duration, and it outputs it on those pins.
You can, if you dig deep inside the Arduino IDE in the underlying libraries, you'll find where it defines which pins are going to be PWM pins. And you can even change the frequency in there. So if it doesn't work the way you want it to work, you can make it work the way you want it to work.
Yeah.
But yes,
Many years ago, when I was teaching microprocessor interface at my university, I set up a controller to run a PWM of like 5 hertz, which is really, really slow. And I told them, like, hey, check this out with your oscilloscope, and then change your frequency to a different value. And it blows you away with it going that slow of, only going 5 hertz. So if you set your PWM to more like 60 hertz and 25%, it doesn't feel so choppy anymore. you end up with a smoother, what looks like a smoother analog signal, but it truly is a square waveform of the max voltage.
PWM's tricky. It tricks you into thinking that it's doing something that it doesn't really do.
It tricks you into thinking it's analog when it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It tricks you into thinking that it's doing something it's not doing.
It's not tricky, it's good.
I didn't actually, I put one of the PWM pins on the O-scope, and that's when it finally clicked about how PWM worked. I was kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, now it makes sense.
I think it would be a good thing to say right now that RC servos also work on a PWM signal.
That's correct.
But the PWM signal coming from the controller of an RC servo is not a power value. It's a communication. Okay?
Yes.
It is just a communication in which it's telling you 1 millisecond means this position, 1.5 milliseconds means another position, 2 milliseconds means another position. So it's a communication of where the controller wants the servo to be positioned at. The receiving control board in the servo receives that signal and uses the voltage available to move to the appropriate position. So I think before we had one of our club members that thought the RC PWM signal was a power amount, but it's not.
Nope.
In that situation, PWM is a communication. But in the situation where we're driving those motors, the DC motors, that is a power amount. It's a chopped voltage.
They if you want more PWM pins than what's available, they do actually make add-on boards that are dedicated PWM boards. And you can control those over I2C, so you're only giving up 2 pins to get like 16 more PWM pins.
At some point, you become current limited, though.
Yeah, the extra low board, it says something about that in the documentation that you need to power it separately
Several
from
power.
Yeah, you power it separate from your Arduino or your whatever controller you
Oh,
use.
so it's not pulling power off the Arduino.
It can, but only if you're only going to use 1 or 2 of the pins. If you're going to use all 16 pins, you need to power it separate.
Yeah, the problem is you run out of current otherwise.
Yeah. You need to ground it to the Arduino so that it can talk over the I2C channel, but other than that, it gets its power from something else. From
Some
somewhere.
of those boards.
Do what?
I've got some of those boards.
Yeah, I got a bunch of them. At one time, I was going to use them all, and then I bought ESP32s, and they're just sitting around now.
Yep.
The ESP32s, most of them, you can redefine the pins, so you can tell the pin what you want it to be. So, except for the I2S bus, and there's one other pin you can't redefine. But most of the pins you can redefine. So if you need more PWM pins, you just tell it that you want that pin to be a PWM pin.
Does it become a software base, like an interrupt, to create the PWM, or does it rewrite the hardware?
I honestly don't know. I think it's a combination. I think it's kind of like how the Arduino works.
Okay.
I don't know. Few times that I've needed to do it, you do actually define the pins. And it is a low level code that you use to do it, so there could be some hardware thing going on in there.
That it could be an interrupt. Could be an interrupt. I don't know.
Could be.
Still, that's low level. So, oh, that's cool. Have we seen Steve today?
Do what?
Who else is on here? Who else is around?
Just
Haven't seen Vicente or Steve.
Vicente is somewhere floating around the world right now. And I don't know what happened to Steve. Today, I haven't talked to Steve.
I think it's retraining Wednesday versus Thursday. That's probably some of it.
Yeah,
So are we going to be doing Thursdays from now on, or what?
Yes, except for the 26th of this month, we're set to do all the Thursdays we can get. We'll probably miss one Thursday a month. We'll be virtual at least one Thursday a month. We're in competition with the knitting club.
We used to be in competition with them. They followed on from us when we were there at the library 100% of the time.
Yeah,
well, that was also when the library was open later too.
That's true.
And it's fine. We can do virtual. I mean, the one day out of the week we could do virtual.
yeah. Most clubs don't meet every week.
No,
kind of,
we're weird. We meet every
Yeah.
week.
and that's pretty consistent throughout the membership. Yeah, pretty weird.
We're weird. We're here
Consistently weird.
consistently
Yeah.
weird. So, you were here last week, right, Art?
Last week, yes. I think the week before I wasn't. I missed 1 week since I've been here.
That little do flippy, you remember that little do flippy? That's that ESP8266 D1 mini clone from Lily Go. And it does take the battery that Barry gave us,
Uh-huh.
and the program that's on it happily blinks. It's blinking. Yay! It actually did a Wi-Fi scan and then it started blinking.
Now, what's it doing a Wi-Fi scan for?
It scanned. If I had it plugged into the computer, it would tell me all the access points that it found.
Oh, so it's like a hardware Nmap kind of a thing?
Yeah, it's not a very good scanner, but I think it tells the RSSI and the access point name, and then it just blinks.
Mm-hmm.
But on 3.7 volts, no wires, that thing should last forever if I put it in the deep sleep. Just have it wake up and report whatever it needs to report. And go
So
back to
what does
sleep.
it draw when it's on? Do you have any idea?
I do not. I'm sure right now it's drawing too much because it's got everything turned on. I mean, everything's turned on. I2C bus, everything's turned on. If we just shut everything off that we don't need, I'm sure it won't draw very much. But I thought, we weren't sure last week if that was the right battery or not.
And sure enough, I've got a bunch of batteries for it, so. Non-rechargeable lithium ions.
Non-rechargeable lithium ion?
They're
Yeah,
not ions, they're just lithium. I decided to add the ion part. It's just a lithium battery.
they're just disposable lithium batteries is what
Yeah.
they're.
Non-rechargeable. In fact, it says, do not recharge.
Yeah, you could get a nasty surprise recharge, attempting to recharge. Probably they just catch on fire, but
Well, these batteries have the vents on them. Like these batteries. So I was thinking about charging or trying to charge one anyway, just to see what it would do.
make sure you wear safety glasses.
Oh, yeah. They'll pop like popcorn.
They
Or
were,
maybe a full face shield.
back in the day when those were first coming out, they were quite picky about what you do with them. They were quite, lithium, I guess, is not very good, huh, Art? Not good for you?
Actually, lithium is what they use for depression. You take a lithium pill for certain kinds of psychotic problems.
That open when you get some lithium.
Well, they used to make you dispose of them differently than.
Oh, they
lithium
do.
batteries.
They do. It's flammable. It's highly flammable. And, but toxicity, well, it's sort of it depends on what you mean by toxicity. I mean, you ask yourself if Jack Daniels is toxic. Okay.
To some people, yes, very, very.
but it is used widely as an antipsychotic medication. So
Ray, this is Radio Garden. It's in the news. If you look at the meeting announcement, you can listen to radio stations all over the world, including North Korea, they say. You speak North Korean, whatever.
Hey, Ray. I hope you're not driving.
I'm not driving, no way.
Okay.
you're stationary?
The line signed a new thing into law that they'll go into effect in 90 days about texting and driving with your phone in your hand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doing that at all.
So what's going to happen? You're not going to be able to use your cell phone. You have to be hands-free.
You can
in
pull
Ohio?
you over for some other reason and then get you also for texting and driving.
Actually, the way the law is now, or in 90 days, texting and driving is a primary offense. So if the cop sees you doing it, he can pull you over for it.
What if
Really?
you're not texting?
Yep, that's why I was saying, you being on the road all the time, Ray, probably want to watch that at least for a while.
I
Well,
watch deer.
But it went from being a secondary offense, meaning that they had to pull you over for something else, to being a primary offense, meaning they can pull you over just because you've got your phone in your hand.
but now this is texting or this is talking?
Yes,
Both?
Either one.
either one. They
Okay.
don't particularly need a reason now. If you've got your phone in your hand, they can pull you over.
Okay. Well, that's been that way in California for about 15 years.
Here's my advice on that. Have an empty French fry box in your vehicle, okay?
Painted
Or
black.
a box for your apple pie from McDonald's.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if you say, what did you have in your hand? I had a French fry box in my hand, or I had the apple pie box. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently apparently what I read, it was a little vague. There's a couple of exceptions to it. But mostly it has to do with emergency situations, which fine. But the way I was reading this, if you're a ham radio operator, or if you're talking on the CB, they can pull you over for that too. If you've got your microphone in your hand. So,
Messed up.
yeah, that's kind of screwed up.
What if you have French fries in your hand?
I don't
Yeah.
really I don't text and drive anyway, but you know,
I French fry and drive.
I've got the hands-free thing for my cell phone. I don't really care, but I do pick up the microphone every now and then and talk, so that's going to be interesting to see how that works.
Man, what are they gonna do about police officers? They're gonna make them
What?
pull over.
Do what?
What are they gonna do about police officers?
That's what I was saying, right?
Are they gonna make them pull over?
Yeah, I'll pull them over. Hey, you're talking on your radio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You tell us of how that works out there, Leroy. You can write a book from the local jail.
I'll have fun.
You don't have to go to jail to oppose the questionable, laws.
I think the law may or may not be written real well, but we'll see how it goes when other hams get pulled over. See how it goes when truck drivers get pulled over.
It'll be another one of those laws that says this doesn't apply if you're a congressman or a
cop.
senator or a police officer. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of laws that actually say that
Yes, I know.
apply to you if you're a congressman or a senator.
Or a cop. This is another one of my new toys.
What's that?
This is an M5 stack Atom S3. This is the latest and greatest in the Atom line. And the Atoms are ESP32s. The original had like an LED matrix, RGB matrix 25 LEDs on it.
Mhm.
And then they made one that had a speaker for like a Bluetooth hands-free speaker kind of deal, which the speaker was so small, it was barely registering, what was there. And then they made one without the thing that just had a button, which was neat. Now this one's the S3, so, it's got all the S3 features. But it's got a teeny tiny LCD, color LCD screen.
Pretty cool.
And the button is still in the center. So you could hit the button and get it to change. And it's got a really, really nice, brilliant, nicely lit screen. I mean, I was surprised.
Is that OLED?
No.
So you
LCD.
push the screen and that's the button?
That's the button. And you can hold it for the long press. And now it says that a USB, what does it say? USB is not plugged in because it's plugged into the charger.
but you know, there's no battery on it or anything. It's got these little, you know, same pin out as the other Atom, so I can plug it into any of the Atom shields and make it work. It's just got a little tiny screen on it, which is really cool. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but it's cool.
So those come from what?
M5.
eBay or Alibaba?
No, I stopped buying M5 stack stuff off of Alibaba or AliExpress and just go directly to their website and buy it from them directly now. So they've been around forever and you know they're a good company. So I just buy it directly from them now. And I get fast shipping, like everything that I have had shipped from them directly takes like less than a day for them to actually get it into the stream of, you know, shipping services. Where if you buy it from AliExpress, it takes them 2 or 3 days to get it into the system. So they're a little tiny bit faster if you buy directly from them. And if you buy so much from them, they'll give you free shipping and all that happy stuff. But shipping's not cheap anymore. Shipping should be cheap, but it's not. But yes, those are my latest toys. I think that's it. I think that's all my toys. I really want to do.
Okay.
There's some Real Logics, E1 Pros, yeah, on eBay for $30 a piece now. They're refurbs, but they're from the Real Link store, Real Link refurb center, so they come with support. $30, pretty good.
Now, are those weatherproof?
No, those are a PTZ. I have them up under the eaves of my house. I had them there for like a year so far, and they're no problems with them. But yeah, they need to be kept away from the direct rain. They do have some outdoor types too. We got a couple of those.
Which are the ones that you've got hooked up to a solar panel?
I've got the Argus 2.
Is that the one that's there by your hummingbird feeder?
That was the Argus 3. I don't know if they still selling the Argus 3. I noticed they've got a new version. They don't have the Argus 2 and the Argus 3 that I've seen. They have a new one, and I forget what they call it. Yeah, I still got the Argus 2 out in the woods. I was looking at it. I look at it every day to see if the coyotes have been by.
Do you have many coyotes in your area?
Yeah, we had them out the other night chasing deer, and I saw the doe after they went through, but I did not see the baby. They came through again. I haven't seen the doe since they came through again. I need to put some trail cams out. But the E1 Pro is the pan tilt zoom, and they have 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, and they have the 4 gigahertz sensor. So they're pretty good for $30. They're great, man.
So now, what do you find the range on? The distance on the 2.4 versus the 5? Is there a substantial difference or not?
I don't know. I've not noticed the difference.
Okay.
I got, the ones I have out in the barn, they're actually 2.4. Because of my access point is 2.4.
Oh, it's a 2.4 only access point?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. At the time I got it, I only had 2.4 cameras. I just started getting the 5s. The 5s are really, the biggest thing about the 5s is the bandwidth. You can pump a lot more through them. They're a lot faster.
Uh-huh.
And you can have more cameras and you don't even notice. But with the radio links too, the compression is so good. You know, I can have, you know, I got 20 something cameras now and they don't have trouble. I don't have trouble with that. The bandwidth. 2.4 is about packed though, with 20 cameras. 2.4 is getting pretty busy. But before it was getting useless. But now I have no network problems. Before I had network problems with the real links. I just cut down on the bandwidth and everything is compressed so great. You see you got 190K or 200K rate and that's no traffic. That's nothing.
Yeah.
I saw you looking. At least you
We're almost, I knew we were getting close.
But for $30, they're pretty good. They're darn good cameras. And I got one of my street cams I brought in that I took down. I'm replacing all my street cams and it's just filthy on the bottom. It was up under the eaves of my house for 5 years. Over the look in the backyard. Hey, they are pretty stable and the real links look like they're the same. As long as you don't get them wet. Yeah, let it rain directly on them. You're pretty good.
Yeah, how do you keep the birds off of them? If it provides a place for them to perch, the birds around my house in California love to sit up there, and then of course they poop all over the camera.
You know, they can't perch on the street cams or the other ones. They're round. You can't perch on it. There's no place to perch.
Okay.
Yeah, the only problem I have is bugs. Sometimes a wasp wants to get right in the lens for whatever reason.
Spiders.
And
Spiders.
that's the great thing about the PTZ. You can just spin it around and they get irritated at you. And it entertains me a little bit too.
I think spiders are attracted to the IR.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 7 o'clock. It's
Yeah.
time to say bye.
Take care, guys.
Yeah, spider
See you
web.
next week.
Bye.
See you next week.
See ya.
Take care, Ray.
Yep.